Something new every year. So we have a duo of instructors for the class here, or trio of instructors, 4 instructors, pulling out all the forces. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce Director Robbie Robinson to get us started.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon, sir.
I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed. A democracy, a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, in perfect union, one and indivisible, established upon the principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for what American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and defend it against all enemies. You guys know what that was? What did I just read? Your book, it's in your manual. Yes, sir.
Is it the pledge that you defend the nation?
No, it's close, but not. That's not it.
What I'm basically trying to get at is it where you stand up, put your right hand up, and pledge allegiance to the United States flag.
No, we do the Pledge of Allegiance. That's a different set of rules, but that's okay.
That's the
Yes, sir.
Is it part of the preamble of the Constitution?
No. In your manual, that's listed in there. That's called the American Creed. When I was a kid, way back, it used to be said in school, just like you guys say the Pledge of Allegiance in school. That used to be said as well. We don't say that much anymore. Secretary Warner talked about a lot of this stuff this morning in his speech, the same things I just talked about. So, what we're going to do here today is talk about the flag. How important it is, why we take care of it so well, and how to display it. So, the flags that are up here on stage, are they up here in the correct order? There's only 2. You're shaking your head. Why is that one over there?
Because the flag flies to its right.
To its right, that's correct. Its own right. And why is it on the right? Good answer. The position over there at the right is the position of honor. That's why it's at the right. Now, as you guys are looking at it, what side of the stage is it on? Well, how can that be? You have to remember, it's his own right, which is like the gentleman said. So a good way to remember if you're displaying flags, as you're looking at it, it's on your left side, as you're looking at it. It's still on the position of honor, but it's on your left. Now, the ones we have over here, are they in the right order? Who said no? Why? They are. What order do they go in? Does anyone know? Yes, sir.
where the Army came first, then the Navy, then the Marines, and then the Air Force, and then etc.
Great. Very good. That's true. They call that the order of precedence. So yes, you're right. By the date of the service is when they came in. What's our newest branch of the military service? Space Force. Okay. Have you all seen that flag?
Yes, sir.
Hold that one out, Hogue. Okay, so now we have 6 branches of the military service. Now, if you look in the books, it says we have 8, because there's a couple other ones that we don't hear much about. But those are the 6 main branches of the service. What do you say?
Merchant Marines are one.
Merchant Marines, yes, that's one, that's correct. So, putting them in precedence, you would have to have a little history of each of the flags to know what precedence they go in. And the gentleman that said by dates of the service is correct, because it was Army, then the Marine Corps, then the Navy, and on down the list.
I said Army, Navy, then Marines.
Well, the Marines and the Navy, which have some, is there any Navy guys in here? Oh, there's one over there. Is there any Marines in here? Okay. So these 2 branches of the service have a little bit of problem with each other, but we all go for the same reason. The Marine Corps actually got its papers signed before the Navy. So the Marine Corps is actually second, then the Navy, then the Air Force, then the Coast Guard, then the Space Force. So that's how it goes.
Sir,
Now, yes, sir.
just let everybody know here, the Navy's, the Marine Corps' Hooters.
Okay. I told you they had a little problem with each other, so, you know.
I live with it.
Okay, very good. Okay. So now, we've got some things down here on the front tables we want to show you. And who knows what half-staff means in flags? Yes, sir, in the back.
It means that something tragic is happening, like a death of a senator or other person.
Okay, very good. That's correct. Now, when you see a half-staff, you recognize it because it's what? Halfway up the pole, right? Well, what if you have a pole that you cannot put it at half? It's like a telescopic pole. I have one of those in my yard. Yes, sir. No, we'll talk about that in a minute. No. There is a reason you would put it upside down, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but that's not why. Okay, so it's halfway up the pole, but in my yard, you cannot put it that way because it's a telescopic pole, and if you take it down to half staff, it's still at the top of the pole, it's just shorter. So, the American Legion added a section to the flag code, a petition, so if you have one of those type poles, you can put this streamer on the flag at the top of the pole, which means it is at half staff. Now, the stipulation to that in the flag code is that it has to be the same size and width of the stripes on the flag. So you have to match the streamer to your flag. But that will tell you that it is at half staff. Now, I have some other flags up here on the table. You can see these here, they're streamers. And what those streamers would be used for, if you've ever watched a parade on television, you see the Army or the Navy or the Air Force Honor Guard marching, you'll see their flag has these things hanging all over it. That's for special battles, honors that service got. Now, sometimes they have to be specific to that branch of the service. I mean, you wouldn't put a Marine Corps sticker on, or a Marine Corps streamer on the Navy flag. That wouldn't be good. They wouldn't like that, or vice versa. Now, which flag that we have up here could hold any streamer you put on it? Which one? Right, correct. Since that's above all these, you can put them all on there. You could put Army, Navy, Air Force, POW, whichever, on that flag, because that was working. You usually don't do that. You usually have a separate pole if you just have a couple flags with the streamers on it. Okay? Now, we talked about half staff. We said how you do it and all that. How does it get to half staff? Yes, sir.
I don't know what it's called, but where the rope they have around the base of the pole, where you bring it down, connect the clips to the flag, and then you bring it up there.
Okay, well, that's true. All that's correct. But when the flag is put at half mast, oh, yes, sir.
You raise it all the way up to the top slowly. No, you raise it all the way up fast, and then you bring it down halfway.
Correct. That's right. You take it all the way to the top, then bring it back down slowly to the middle. That is correct. Now, how would you take it down? Correct. Same way. You would take it all the way back to the top and then bring it all the way back down. That's how you would do that. Now, who can put the flag at half staff or half mast? Yes, sir.
The president?
The president. Who else?
Governor.
The governor, correct. Now, Governor Justice can go over here to Virginia and tell them to put their flags at half mast. The governor can only do it in the borders of his own state. So you have to remember that. So you may be, in our area, you can drive in and out of the state a little bit, and you may see it, say, in Maryland or Virginia at half staff, but not here. That's because their governor has a reason to do that. So, but that's the case is there. There's a couple other flags I want to show you up here. There's a star flag up here. I'm going to have them hold this up, and you can see if you can tell me what this is. The one that Mike has is the blue star. What do you think that means? Yes, sir.
Does it mean that the family has a member in the military?
Correct. The family has a member serving in the armed forces. That's correct. And what do you suppose the gold one means? Yes, sir.
That they lost a family.
They lost a family member. That's right. And those can also have multiple stars on them. Multiple stars. So if you have two serving, you would have two stars. So now, there's a couple different flags over here. I'm going to have them hold up and see if you can tell me the difference of the two flags. The one on the end and the one in the middle. Before you say these flags are exactly the same color, same size, well, what's the difference? Yes, sir. Back here. Yes, sir. Yes.
One was folded wrong.
Well, they probably are folded wrong. They've been stored for a while, but yes, that's true. Yes, sir.
That one's a light blue.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir.
One of them is much better kept than the other.
But why do you think it looks that way?
The one on the right's a little frayed by the stars, and on the left it seems better.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. One is an all-weather flag. Which that one is made out of nylon. That's the one you put outside on days like today, where there's raining and wind, so it lasts longer. The other one is all cotton. It's an interment flag. If you put that outside in a windstorm, it'd last about 2 days, because it would just rip it up. So that's the difference of those two. Now there's one more flag on there, and we're going to unfurl it, and then they can fold it back. Sure you can. Not that one. No, not that one. Not that. The other big one. So I want you to tell me if there's anything different about this flag than the other flags. Talk about that in a minute. All right, is there anything different about this flag?
The stars are in perfect rows.
The stars are in perfect rows. That's correct. Yes, sir. There's not enough stars. What happened to the other two?
It's pre-1950.
Very good, very good. Now, my question is, can we still fly that flag? Who says no? Raise your hands. Who says yes? Everybody else. Why can we still fly it?
Because it's still an official flag of the United States of America.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. Now, we talked a little earlier about the flag.
Could you repeat that so everybody heard what he said?
What?
The answer.
Oh, it is still an official flag of the United States. It was certified at one time as a flag of the United States, so it is still valid to fly, even though it only has 48 stars. So we talked a little bit earlier about the flag code. That's the rules that we go by. Now, in the flag code, what just happened here, it's not supposed to touch anything beneath it. However, the flag code also says there's judgment calls. That was an accident. That wasn't purposely dropped and stepped on or anything like that. That was an accident. So now, that flag touched the ground. We can still fly it because it is, and I'm going to give you a couple words here, serviceable. If a flag is still serviceable, you can still use it. That means the same colors, same style, no rips, no tears, no holes. All that, it still can be used. Now, when it becomes unserviceable or unfit to fly, what do we have to do with it? Retire it. How do we retire it? Yes, sir. We burn it. That's correct. Flag code recommended way is burning it. Yes, sir.
It has to be ceremoniously burned in.
Correct.
Needs to be solidified.
In a dignified manner is what the flag code says. That is correct. In a dignified manner. Now, tomorrow, you all are going to see a flag retirement ceremony. Matter of fact, your class is going to put on that. For any of you that come to the Americanism in the morning, could possibly get a spot to help with that tomorrow afternoon. Yes.
She does just didn't have to say that I really want to do it.
Well, come in the morning on the porch of the dining hall, and we can do that. You can be a part of the team. Okay? Now, when you're burning it, why do you think they use the method of burning? Yes, sir.
To ensure that there was no possible way they could still be burned.
You know what? I should not have taught this class because you guys seem to have all the answers. But that's as good. So now, that is correct. By burning it, you can make sure the flag is completely retired, completely destroyed. So no parts of it can ever be used. How many Boy Scouts are in here? Tell me have you ever done with these in your Boy Scouts? Tell me how you all do it.
Speak up, please, sir.
We made this like campfire type thing, and like we all lined up, and the military guy that came in with the flag, and I honestly was just trying to remember what happened.
Okay.
For some reason, I remember there was like music playing at some point.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
What we did, we had multiple organizations donate flags for us. We ended up retiring about 300 flags in one day, and we had a station where people would cut the corners off, and
Okay.
then they would cut the corners with the epaulets, and then they had a large fire, and then they ceremonially.
Okay. There are several different ways that people do that as long as it is in a dignified ceremony. I've heard that people have done that. Now, yes, sir.
I just remember they like cut the stripes off.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. The Scouts cut the stripes out and burn them. Some people cut the corners out. Some people cut the blue stars out, and then they burn them. The Legion, we fold it up just like you saw these guys fold the flag, and the whole entire flag goes in at one time. That's how the Legion does it. There's nothing wrong with any way you do it as long as it is in a dignified manner. Okay? What I want to do now is open it up to questions. See what questions you all have about the flag. We got about 15 minutes left in the class here. I just want to know what your thoughts are on the flag or whatever. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Earlier you mentioned that there was a case where the flag would be flown upside down, and then you never really elaborated on that.
Thank you. I'm old, I forget. Yes, was it you that said upside down? There is a reason you would fly it upside down. Years ago on Navy vessels that were out in the ocean, if they were in distress, they would fly the U.S. flag upside down. That signified that that ship was in distress and needed help. If you see something that someone put it up wrong, upside down, you probably should check. Maybe that place is in trouble. Maybe there is some kind of distress, so you would check that. But that would be the only time you fly the U.S. flag upside down for distress. Yes, sir.
Hang on. Stand up. So let's implement the Boy State way of asking questions and answering questions. He's off to a start. He got recognized, and he stood up, and he's going to say his name and his cabin, and then he'll ask his question. And this ain't working. So.
Well, you know, you didn't turn it on right.
My name is, well, Ralph Yancey. I go by Xerxes, but I'm from Upshur, but formerly actually from Berkeley. But, anyways, my question was on military uniforms. Why are the patch like, why is it back?
Okay, okay. You notice on sleeves, sometimes the flag is backwards. Yes, because the theory is that if you're walking, the flag would be blowing in that direction, okay? Which is the wrong way if you were displaying the flag. That's correct. The Greyhound Bus Company, anybody ever heard of them? They petitioned Congress to let them put on their bus backwards because that was their point. That when the bus is moving, that's the way the flag would be facing, not the other way. So that's why. So that's why you see that. And a lot of times if you're ordering patches that are flags, they'll say left sleeve or right sleeve. So, okay? Yes?
What if I was mounting the flag on the wall?
If you were mounting the flag on the wall, take the one there. Doug's going to hold up different ways. You tell me whether it's right or wrong. No, that one's good.
Okay, hang on. Because this is correct. You take the stick off, this is how you would display it. Okay?
The field of blue should be in the upper left if it were against the wall.
Right. If there's no stick, you would display it like this. I'm going to put that on the wall up there. That's how I would display it. Okay? If you're going to display it and it's on the stick on the wall this way, this is the way you would display it. If you take the stick off of it, then you would display it this way. Okay? The mask on it makes a difference of how it is displayed when it is on or off the mask. On mask would be this way. Off mask would be this way. Now, if that's not confusing enough, how many of you walked into Walmart, looked up, and thought, hey, get that flag up backwards? Really? Thanks, Jim. Okay. Now, I need you all to picture if the front of this building is one big glass window, what way am I going to display this flag? Display it this way, or would I display it this way? Hang on, the gentleman right here, just hit the keynote. What did you say?
If you look at it from the inside, it'd be correct. So from his perspective, the flag is correct, so on the outside it would look incorrect.
Okay, but my statement is that this is not a wall, this is a window. So you display the flag as it is being viewed by the most public. So even though I'm standing on the inside, this is correct. Who is going to see this flag more? The people on the inside or the people on the outside? So which way am I going to put this flag up? Okay? Now, in here, if we were going to display it on that wall, we would put it up this way because the people on the inside are the ones who are going to be viewing it. So therefore, at that point, the most public is viewing it from here. But if we were to go even without it being the entire window, if we were to just stick this in the window, we would want to put it up this way because it is going to be viewed by the most public from the outside. So when you are inside, you're going to look at it and go, that's up backwards.
All right, any more questions?
My name is Rocky Nichols. I'm in Canala, Canada, and I was wondering why the flag standing up here has gold trim but others do not.
Okay. The gold trim on that is just a ceremonial flag. It's just a decoration on the flag. Sometimes they're white, sometimes it's gold. Those are usually indoor flags. You don't carry them outside usually. I mean, sometimes you'll see them in a parade with the fringe on it. But most of the time, those are indoor flags and stay inside. Yes, sir.
My name is Alex Burns. I'm from Panhandle, Cabin. So I know you said something about the flag is serviceable as long as it has the right colors. And
Yes.
So I'm not knocking the the all black flags with white stripes and some stripes are red for fire and stuff. But would that flag technically be considered serviceable since it's not the right colors?
Well, but that's not a real U.S. flag. That is a replica of an organization or something else. It is not a U.S. flag. When we talk about the flag code, it talks about the United States of America's flag only. It's not talking about the green ecology flag or the black one that you're talking about for police officers. That is something for that particular organization, not through that. Yes, sir.
I'm Jack Romano. I don't have my voice. I'm from Upshur Cabin. Isn't it inappropriate to wear the American flag on clothing?
That is correct. An American flag. However, the flag code specifies that a patch that is made can be worn on a uniform. But if someone was to take one of the little flags that you see people waving at parades and whatever, take that off and stick it on their shirt or their back of their jacket, that's not appropriate because that is an actual flag.
I'm from Upshur. Do the certain flag toppers mean anything? Like those have eagles and those have...
The eagle is usually reserved for the top of the U.S. flag. The others are just spears to decorate the tops of them. That's all. There's not really any significance to those.
It's called a finial.
Okay? Yes?
What about the height of the flag? Is there any regulation on the height of the flag?
There's regulations in the flag code that say you have to have a certain size flag on a certain size pole. For a 20-foot flagpole, you have to have at least a 3x5 flag on it. As you go higher, the flag code gives you dimensions of what size flag will fly on that pole.
Can any flag fly higher than the American flag?
No, not the,
Actually, a Navy church pennant is the only flag that they will fly in the Navy
Okay.
above the U.S. flag.
oh, okay,
But that's only done during church service on board a Navy ship.
okay.
I'm not sure everybody can hear that. You talk about an exception.
There is one exception of anything flying higher than the American flag on board Navy ships during church service. There is a church pennant that is flown during service. Once the church service is over, that pennant is removed and the flag is put back in its proper place.
My name is Liam Savage. I'm from Upshur Cottage. My question was,
Has there ever been a time in American history where the upside down American flag has been flown over the Capitol or the White House?
To my knowledge, no.
Only in the movies.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Sam Dodson from Panhandle Cabin, and I was wondering if the U.S. flag is flown alongside flags from other countries. Is the U.S. flag above those flags, or are they like equal? Or?
Well, that depends. I spent 5 years in Germany when I was in the service, and every day at retreat, they would play the German national anthem and our anthem. Because we were in the host country, usually the Germans went first, because it's their country, even though we have sovereign soil on our bases. But it depends on your forces agreement with the country you're in. On our compounds, our flag flies highest and to the right and all that. But on their soil, it may be different. So it depends on the situation, but normally ours is higher, yes.
Chase Moss, Marion Cottage. What about like the flags of the international organizations such as NATO, the United Nations, things like that? Are they at the same height or higher, or?
Well, the United Nations, which is in New York, everybody knows that, are all the same height. However, the first 5 are the first original members of the UN. That's how they go. So, and I don't know the specific order that they are, that they go in of the first 5.
No, I meant like the flags of the organizations. So like how the UN has its flag and NATO has its flag. Like, what about those flags?
No, I believe the country flags would go above them, I believe. Okay, this is the last question, then we'll finish up here.
Yeah, I'm Nick Tustin from Webster Cottage, and I was just wondering if it would ever be acceptable, if done properly, to retire a flag on your own by yourself?
The flag code specifies in a dignified manner. If you're doing it in a dignified manner, I would see no problem with that, as long as you make sure it's completely destroyed, like we said, that no other parts of it can be used. Okay, we talked some about the flag code. Now, I want to make sure everybody understands. The flag code, one of the first things that they say in the flag code is, there is no punishment if you violate this code. You think that makes sense? It doesn't make sense to me either, but that's the code. So what it's telling us is that the flag code is a moral code. You know, and I know, that we're not supposed to take this flag down here and stomp on it and put it on, drag it through the mud or whatever. We know that. It's a moral code that we should respect. And when we talked about last night the Pledge of Allegiance, when you're pledging to yourself, if you hurt that flag, you're hurting yourself, because you're an American and that flag is you. So you need to remember that.
Now, he does say that there's no punishment, but if someone was liable to do that in front of a military person, he might be punished.
Yes, well, that's another side of the story here. However, I just want to let you know that what we're talking about is respect for our flag. It's what we live under. It's how our nation was built. And there is a lot of men and women that sacrificed for that flag. So I thank you for your attention, gentlemen. Oh, yes, I wanted to bring up one thing. I'm sorry, Chris. Just 1 second. A question came up this morning after Reveille of why everybody didn't salute in your ranks. In your cabins, if they didn't tell you, the only person that salutes or puts their hand on their heart is the person up front. Because in a military formation, which you're in, you don't do that. So you wouldn't have to do that, okay? So you're just to stand at attention till the national anthem's over or the pledge is over, if you're doing that in formation.
Also, that it was the guidon also saluting.
Yes.
Yes, so the guidon and the commander were saluting for the unit.
Yes. Just remember how many people sacrificed for that flag so you could sit here today. Because there's a lot of people in different countries that are your age that don't get the opportunities you get. And that flag gives you most of those opportunities. Thank you for your attention, guys. I'm going to turn it back over to Chris, and he's going to tell you what's next.